The Last Fans in the Stadium. A World Cup story about respect by Read and Grow with Stories. Have you ever thought winning was the most important part of a game? Haru did. Tonight, he was about to watch his team play under the brightest lights he had ever seen. But before the night was over, he was about to discover something no scoreboard could ever show him. Because sometimes, the most important part of a game begins when everyone thinks it's ended. Haru had never seen a stadium glow like that. Golden light spilled across the path as he walked beside Grandpa, following hundreds of fans in blue. Ahead of them, the stadium waited like a giant dream. Inside, the seats rose like blue waves around the bright green field. Haru held his flag tightly. "This is bigger than I ever imagined," he whispered. Grandpa smiled. "Some dreams are meant to feel big." Then the whistle blew. Japan ran forward in blue shirts, quick feet and brave hearts. Haru jumped to his feet with every pass. Grandpa watched quietly, his eyes shining behind the round glasses. When Japan scored the fourth goal, the whole stadium burst into cheers. Flags danced. Scarves flew. Haru waved his little flag high above his head. For him, it felt like the perfect ending. Grandpa didn't move. But when the crowd began to leave, Grandpa didn't move toward the exit. Instead, he opened his blue backpack. Inside were neatly folded blue bags. Haru blinked. "Grandpa, are you staying?" Grandpa held out one of the bags. "Because," he said softly, "there's a part of the game that some people never see." Around them, the stadium was growing quieter. The cheering had stopped, but something important was just beginning. "Long ago," Grandpa said, "Japan dreamed of playing in the World Cup. In 1933, the team hoped to go, but war stopped their journey before it could begin." Haru looked across the empty seats. "So they never gave up?" he asked. Grandpa smiled. "No, they kept dreaming. In 1998, Japan finally reached its first World Cup. They didn't win their matches," Grandpa said, "but they took the first step." Haru nodded slowly. "The first step still counts." "It always does," Grandpa said. "Then came 2002, Grandpa continued. "Japan helped host the World Cup, and the team reached a new level. For the first time, the world began to see Japan differently. Not just as a team that had arrived, but as a team that belonged. In 2010 and 2018, Grandpa said, Japan learned how to fight until the very end. They won beautiful moments. They faced painful losses, and each time, they came back stronger." Haru looked down at the blue bag in his hand. "So every year taught them something." "Yes," Grandpa said. "Every year taught them how to grow." Then in 2022, Japan surprised the world again. They defeated powerful teams. Fans cheered. Players gave everything. But even after great victories, the players cleaned their locker rooms and the fans cleaned the stadium. Haru looked around. "So respect was part of victory too?" Grandpa smiled. "Maybe it was the most important part." Now Haru could see it. Fans in blue were staying behind. Some held open blue bags. Some picked up cups and wrappers. Some carefully cleaned the rows of seats. The score told everyone who had won the match. But these people were showing the world who they were. Haru didn't wait for Grandpa to ask. He bent down and picked up a cup from the floor. Then he placed it gently inside the blue bag. Grandpa looked at him proudly, quiet eyes, and Haru understood. A small action could carry a big meaning. Little by little, the stadium changed. The wrappers disappeared. The steps became clear. The blue seats began to shine again in evening light. The loudest crowd of the night was gone, but the last fans were still there, working together. Grandpa looked across the clean rows of seats. "Winning is wonderful," he said, "but real character is what you do after the applause fades." Haru held the blue bag a little tighter. He no longer felt like he had stayed behind. He felt like he had become part of something important. When Haru and Grandpa finally walked toward the exit, the stadium was ready for tomorrow. Soon, new fans would arrive, new children would cheer, new dreams would begin, and no one would know exactly who made the place ready. But Haru would know. The game ended with a whistle, but respect didn't. And that's what Haru learned. That a scoreboard can tell us who won the game, but it can't tell us who we become after the cheering stops. Sometimes the smallest choice can leave the biggest mark. So the next time you win, lose, or simply walk away from somewhere, ask yourself, what will I leave behind?